really early years, childhood experience. You're amazingly close.
Yeah.
And yes, you know.
Most of the time.
Shot family, and we generally mean it when it's a shot family, because over 10 years we're going to have a big family. And it's
Just moments ago, the royal family dropped a bombshell. No press leak, no warning. Whispers say it's bigger than any coronation or scandal. Why is the palace suddenly so quiet? And why are William and Kate at the center of it all? Hit subscribe. We're unpacking it all right now. It began with just one line on the royal website. A single phrase posted without fanfare, without detail. A formal announcement will be made at 6 p.m. No context, no pre-briefing, no leaks to the press, just quiet anticipation. The public didn't know what to expect, but they knew something big was coming. Within minutes, the media spun into overdrive. Reporters rushed to the palace gates. News anchors stretched airtime with speculation. Theories flew. Was there a sudden shift in royal leadership? A surprising health update? A scandal? The whole country seemed to hold its breath.
That we can actually fix this stuff. And ultimately, I want my children's future to be better than...
But when the clock struck 6, no one could have predicted what came next. The video broadcast didn't show King Charles. It wasn't Queen Camilla either. Standing in the frame were Prince William and Princess Kate alone. No advisors, no red carpets, no royal fanfare, just a dimly lit room in Kensington Palace and two poised voices. William spoke first, his words firm but thoughtful. The monarchy is not just a symbol. It's a responsibility. He didn't speak in code or ceremony. He spoke like someone who understood the weight of the moment. Then Kate stepped forward, calm, clear, and composed. Her tone carried both kindness and conviction. "This isn't about tradition," she said. "It's about trust." With that, a quiet revolution had begun.
People will get fed up, and all these young feel nothing is ever happening, so of course they're going to get frustrated.
The most striking part of their statement wasn't just their vision. It was their action. Kate announced the launch of something called the Diana Initiative, a global nonprofit built to honor Princess Diana's legacy of compassion, transparency, and service. But this wasn't just a tribute, it was a mission. Kate would be the face of it, personally visiting shelters, speaking with families, and advocating for underserved communities. It was clear, this was her cause, not a ceremonial title. Her voice echoed Diana's spirit, but with her own unique purpose. Some say this moment didn't just honor the past, it aimed to reclaim it. What William and Kate revealed was far more than a charity launch. It was a new framework for the royal family, a plan the press soon dubbed the modern monarchy blueprint.
I will definitely give it a go, even if it's something I haven't tried before, because it's really fun.
3 core principles defined it: relevance, transparency, and presence. Ceremonial duties would be reduced, ribbon cuttings would take a back seat. Instead, William and Kate would prioritize causes like climate resilience, mental health, and educational equity. In a monarchy rooted in ritual, this was groundbreaking. For the first time, senior royals weren't just talking about change, they were stepping into it. You'd expect celebration, support, or at least a repost from royal accounts. But what followed the announcement was something colder: silence. There were no public statements from King Charles or Queen Camilla, no official endorsement, no family photograph reposted to the palace page. Insiders later revealed Charles's immediate reaction was confusion. "What did they do?" he reportedly asked aides, stunned. Camilla's reaction, however, went deeper. She saw Kate's spotlight on Diana not just as a tribute, but as a challenge.
Relationships comes out so strongly through that. It's really powerful. And do you feel like...
For years, Camilla had worked to reshape her image. Now, in just a few minutes, public attention had shifted. Again. But while the palace froze, the public responded with warmth. Social media exploded. The People's Queen began trending within hours. It was a nickname once used for Diana. Now it was being spoken about Kate. Her first appearances after the announcement weren't at royal balls. Instead, she visited a mental health clinic for teens, then a women's shelter, both unannounced. No cameras, no press. The photos surfaced later, posted by the people she met. One young girl said, She didn't talk down to us, she looked us in the eye. For many, that moment said more than 100 royal addresses. Behind palace doors, the reaction was far from celebratory.
But like all people's jobs, you'll find that it isn't actually what it appears to be.
Yes.
Charles, while trying to stay neutral publicly, was deeply unsettled. His reign had barely begun, and yet it felt as though the focus had already shifted away. Camilla, according to reports, was more frustrated. She requested the Diana Initiative be moved under official palace oversight, bringing it under royal control. But advisors warned against it. The risk? Being seen as controlling or jealous in the face of something so publicly beloved. So the strategy was silence. But the silence only deepened the contrast between the old ways and what William and Kate represented. Inside Kensington Palace, William wasn't surprised by the tension. But what hurt was the coldness, the absence of acknowledgement from his own father. Still, he stood firm. "This isn't a discussion," he reportedly told an aide. "It's a strategy." For him, this wasn't rebellion. It was a correction. The monarchy had long followed a pattern of silence, one that had hurt his mother and, more recently, his wife. William was done asking for permission. He didn't shout, he didn't argue, he simply acted. And in doing so, he began reshaping the royal family. Not with force, but with quiet resolve. What happened next wasn't publicized, but it was unmistakable. Royal aides began requesting meetings through Kensington, not Buckingham. Photographers started trailing William and Kate instead of Charles and Camilla. There were no press releases announcing a power shift, but insiders noticed. Where attention flowed, influence followed. More importantly, younger royals began aligning their charitable work under William's vision. The center of royal gravity was changing. Not in a coup, not with conflict, but with credibility. Public opinion became impossible to ignore.
Those to come out of 10 years worth of Earthshot, then it's worth it.
Kate's approval rating soared to levels unseen since Diana's prime. Her calm presence and meaningful actions resonated deeply. Meanwhile, Charles watched from the sidelines. In private, he reportedly expressed sorrow, not at William's success, but at what it symbolized. "I've waited my whole life for this," he told an aide, "and now the spotlight is gone." It wasn't resentment, it was a reflection. A reign born from tradition now felt like a shadow to something more modern, more relatable, and more emotionally resonant. The Diana Initiative didn't launch with flashy ceremonies or ornate receptions. It began with compassion, strategy, and a quiet promise to change what leadership looks like. What Kate and William proposed wasn't simply a program, it was a philosophy. And that philosophy was quickly becoming the royal family's unexpected blueprint for the future.
About the society I hope we could and can become, right from the early days, meeting.
Kate's vision was clear from day one: action, not appearance. She began organizing real projects, not just symbolic efforts. One of the first steps? Establishing a network of mental health counselors across the UK who could offer free support to grieving children and teens. The idea stemmed directly from William and Harry's own childhood experience, losing their mother and being left to process it in silence. It wasn't just charity, it was personal healing turned into public service. She also initiated discussions on maternal health care access, hosting closed-door sessions with experts, survivors, and community leaders. No press, no protocol, just listening. "Too often," she said in one meeting, "we wait for pain to become public before we act. I'd rather listen before someone suffers in silence." That sentence alone made headlines, not because it was dramatic, but because it felt honest.
I thought he might have sort of maybe thought about it, but no. It was a total shock when it came.
Meanwhile, the initiative set a precedent no other royal program had ever embraced: full transparency. Every donation, expense, and engagement would be documented, shared publicly, and audited independently. Kate insisted on it. "If we're asking for trust, we should prove we've earned it," she reportedly told her team. That line became a guiding mantra. But it didn't stop at paperwork. The real shift came in how William and Kate defined service. They weren't going to perform royalty. They were going to practice responsibility. William began personally attending climate resilience workshops in communities impacted by extreme weather. He sat in roundtable meetings, not as a speaker, but as a listener. No bodyguards flanking every side. Just a notepad and a willingness to learn. One surprising moment came when a child at a flood relief center asked William, "Are you here to help or just be seen?" Without hesitation, he responded, "To help."
I know that in the position I'm in, that's what's required of me to do.
And if I fail at that, tell me. That clip, captured by a volunteer, went viral. And it said everything about the change happening behind the scenes. Behind every photo, there was a follow-through. Behind every speech, a strategy. And behind every gesture, genuine intent. They weren't trying to outshine anyone. They were trying to rebuild a connection between the crown and the people it was meant to serve. Inside the palace, not everyone was thrilled. Some insiders quietly questioned whether too much transparency might invite criticism. But William remained firm. "If we hide behind tradition, we lose the chance to evolve," he reportedly told an aide. That mindset echoed through everything he and Kate did. The Diana Initiative began collaborating with global organizations, offering not just royal endorsement, but active partnership.
Made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
International conferences were planned not just around royal interests, but around issues people were passionate about: health equity, early childhood support, climate justice. What was most radical? It wasn't the content, it was the approach. William and Kate weren't just hosting summits. They were showing up at community centers, shelters, and schools, sometimes with cameras, often without. Their schedule no longer revolved around palace duties, it revolved around people. Their model was catching on. Younger royals began asking how they could contribute more meaningfully. Some even requested briefings from the Diana Initiative team, eager to learn this new approach to service. It wasn't just a campaign anymore, it was reshaping the entire royal work ethic. So what do you think? Is this the kind of royal future the world needs? Let us know in the comments, and if you want more royal insights like this, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more to uncover.